Welcome everybody to prompt number 98. You know what? I think you're pretty great. Alright, now that we've got our positivity out of the way, let's see. And my marker just fell out, so I gotta flip through and find it. Let's see. Okay, we've got two jack-o'-lantern, a little late, that's okay. And Cinderella's glass slipper. Thank you, phone. Alright, that's an interesting combination. Here we go. Actually, no, it's not. I guess Cinderella had that pumpkin carriage thing, but it wasn't a jack-o'-lantern. Ooh, we could do like a goth Cinderella. Okay, here we go for real. So obviously when I said goth Cinderella, I was very, very excited. So that's what we did. We, you know, the royal we. I've been playing a lot of Katamari Damacy reroll lately. So like I said, goth Cinderella, very excited. So this is basically, I guess, a character design, which is fine because I just had so much fun drawing this character and designing her clothes and just thinking of a backstory or just thinking of how Cinderella could be retold but in a goth way or a very, well, I was gonna say dark way, but I guess Cinderella is already sort of a dark story, right? She's practically enslaved by her family. So obviously I did want to design her clothes to be sort of Cinderella inspired, but also very Victorian or just goth in general, whatever that may be these days. I did want to give her a corset because I feel like that is just a very iconic look for the goth sort of Victorian style. But in the end, I ended up ditching it because I know the corsets really limit the way you can move your torso, and I wanted her to be twisting around and bending backwards a little bit, which just, I know illustrations, you can do whatever the heck you want, it doesn't have to be realistic, but I guess I decided to keep that classic sort of Disney princess dress look and just focus on making the base of the dress see-through and making those hoops and stuff. I just think they're really cool looking. I guess it's really not that hard to make a Disney princess a goth version. All you have to do is just make her darker colored and just not super cutesy. Give her some weird hairdos, not the cutesy, beautiful hairdos. For her hairdo, I wanted her to have very long black hair because I just felt like, again, that's just one of those iconic gothy things. But also I wanted to give her a little bit of a stranger hairdo. So I gave her a small patch of side shavedness. I don't know if side shaves are still popular. I know they were a few years ago. I'm not very hip or cool with any sort of fashion scene, but if I'm trying to make these Disney princesses not normal and make them more goth, a side shaved head is definitely something Disney is never going to do. And I can just see the comments informing me that there is indeed a Disney princess with a side shaved head. I can't wait, actually. She also has a little patch of hair that's still long on the side shaved part. I don't know what you call this style, but I see it a lot with sort of punky stuff. So there it is. And let us not forget Cinderella's glass slipper. So because she's goth Cinderella and Cinderella loses one of her slippers at midnight, this is her going home at the end of the day after she's run away from, well, we'll get there. I guess she's not really running away from a prince. I don't know. We'll think of something in a little bit. So here she is on her way home from whatever she was doing. So she's walking through a pumpkin patch because jack-o'-lantern was the prompt. At first, because Cinderella did have those pumpkin carriage things, or at least a carriage that turned from a pumpkin, I thought about giving her this really cute and creepy jack-o'-lantern carriage, but then I got really into designing this character. So I thought it would be cute if she was walking through like a enchanted pumpkin patch, or maybe her fairy godmother, if that's even what she has. I don't even know. What would it be? Her devil godmother? Demon godmother? What do goths have? They can't have fairies, right? That's probably illegal. It's too cute. It's too nice. So I didn't really think about why these jack-o'-lanterns were flying about, why they are, I guess, basically alive. But I did think about the bats. So Cinderella, at least in the Disney cartoon, has her little mice that help her out and her little buddies. So I thought it would be really cute to give this goth version of Cinderella 3 bats. So I'm sure she has more bats that live in her castle or house or wherever the heck she lives. But as you can see in this illustration, she has 3 bats that are just hanging out with her as her little sidekicks, because bats are basically flying rats, right? I mean, they don't look too far off from rats, especially the way I stylize and draw them with their big ears and their little nose. And they're so fluffy and cute. Bats are basically flying rats. So this was a perfect match for a goth Cinderella, and I was actually really kind of excited about that. So that's pretty dang cute. So when coloring her dress and just her general outfit, I really did want to give her this deep maroon red color, but because I was kind of making this from a Disney version, I thought about giving her a bright red dress. It is still a gothic style dress, so I figured if I made it a bright red, it would still look that way, but it would just be kind of more bright, more colorful. But seeing that really bright red on the base of her dress, it didn't look right, and I just caved and ended up going with this really dark red maroon color. I do think it definitely looks the best on her, and especially bringing the whole illustration together, it just looks so good, all earthy. You know this is my jam, making things dark and earthy and not colorful. It makes perfect sense to do that, but I don't know. I think lately I've been trying to go a little bit brighter, so I felt a little guilty, but that's fine. I think working with making things look really opaque with watercolors is just a lot of fun. Layering things and deciding the colors and how they shine through. Seeing her pale legs in between that dress just looks really neat. I don't know what it is about this see-through dress, but it's pretty dang cool. When it came to coloring the pumpkins, I was actually really worried that it was going to throw off the whole thing. Pumpkins just have this really bright, vibrant, light, yellowy orange color, and even in the light, I felt like if you wanted to make them darker, they would turn into this really gross, muddy orange color, which I wanted to avoid. I didn't want my watercolors to be muddy, I just wanted them to not be as bright and colorful as they could be. Especially because this is a scene that is taking place at night. It would just look really weird if we had these really light, bright pumpkins popping off and just kind of grabbing your attention, because I definitely didn't want them to be the star of the show. Obviously, goth Cinderella is the star of the show. Her and her pale skin in the moonlight. Oh dang, that reminds me, I never talked about what she might be coming home from. Now look, it took all of my restraint to add blood splatters to her. I just thought it would be really, really dang cool if maybe she's a vampire princess or something, so she goes out and fights things or murders things or eats people, or maybe she's a werewolf princess and she pretends she wants to meet up with princes, and then she eats them, and then she goes home and she's like, fa la 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 la, singing songs about the jack-o'-lanterns and doo-doo-doo, I'm going home. I'm a magical Disney princess, but goth form. Heck, maybe the reason why she lost her other slipper is because while she was attacking the other person, they managed to get one of her slippers off and broke it and was trying to attack her with it because they had no weapons. Wow. You guys, I guess I get really dark really often in here. Oops. So I didn't add blood splatters because I feel like most of my drawings these days have blood splatters, and after my drawing with blood video, should probably give you guys a break from that, so no blood splatters this time. Can't make any promises for next time. But overall, I do think she's really dang cute. I had a lot of fun sort of redesigning this Disney, that's not a Disney princess, it's like, what? Was Cinderella a Grimm's fairy tale? Google is telling me no. Either way, I had fun recreating this fictional fairy tale princess as a goth version. Very fun. Okay, anyways, so here it is, our prompt, our drawing. I'll see you guys on the end card. Space was last week's prompt, and this is one of those prompts where everyone's entries, well, most people's entries are just very similar in color, so it's really nice seeing all these purples and blues and just all of these bright, cool, but dark colors of space together. Very nice. So our two featured artists are Alex Monstrous, who you know I couldn't resist featuring because they used Posca pins for space. I don't think I saw anyone use Posca pins for space. And I have to say, you pulled it off so well. I was so impressed with how you could use a solid shape like that, but still create something that looked so much like space. And the character is cute as well. And we have Stalking Cats, who created this really emotional and really beautiful illustration. This person has a hole out of them, and there's this infinity thing going through them, and it's space, and it's pretty, and I like it. It's nice to see a lot of emotions in some of these prompts. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining in. I cannot wait to see what you do with this prompt. Bye!